Hi, I'm Daniel Gold, and welcome to the Gold Standard Leadership Lab. By day, I'm a partner at BDO USA, but this podcast is my personal project, completely separate and apart from my day job, but it reflects the same passion that I exhibit everywhere for teaching, mentoring, and helping others succeed through simple, impactful lessons. It is my hope that you'll walk away with practical takeaways to help you on your leadership journey. Thanks for being a part of the community and for joining me in the Leadership Lab. Let's get started. Last summer, I was walking my dog, Reuben, around the neighborhood. I had some things on my mind, and when that happens, I'd often dictate my thoughts in a voice memo to listen to, transcribe, and review some of the highlights, because somewhere in my ramblings, I typically find, a few gold nuggets that I want to employ or implement in my life. This time, though, I decided to try the fairly new two-way conversation mode with ChatGPT. I started talking out loud, processing and reflecting on my thoughts. What unfolded over that walk wasn't technical. It was human. To my surprise and eerily delight, ChatGPT asked thoughtful, open-ended questions of me. It didn't jump in with advice, it just kept listening. And then it kept nudging me forward with more and, frankly, better questions. It felt more like talking to a good friend or maybe even a therapist. The kind that doesn't need to say much, just sits there and listens really, really well to help you figure out what's already inside of you. By the time I got back to the house with the dog, I had a profound and very clear realization that was both strange and enlightening. This tool, this Gen AI model, was showing me what better leadership looked like, and it really was a transformative experience for me. Not because really of what it said, but because of how it interacted with me. And that is what I want to share with all of you today, because it raised three very big questions for me. The first one is, what if we, as leaders, all asked better questions? Number two, what if we gave, as leaders, more explicit instructions to our team members to ensure that expectations are aligned? And three, what if we communicated with the same intentionality we expect from others? So let's start with these questions. If you've used Gen AI more than a few times, you've seen it. It rarely runs with your first prompt. It asks you for follow-ups, it probes, it seeks context and clarifying questions. And even after it answers you, it checks back in. Did this help? Want to go deeper? Here's some other suggestions. Would you like to run with that? Now, think about how rare that is in leadership. How often do we jump to solutions without really understanding what the actual issue is? How often do we interrupt? How often do we assume? How often are we offering advice when all someone needed was a better question? The Greek Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "We have two ears and one mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." But the truth is, most of us don't lead that way. And I say that as someone who has worked in law, consulting, and technology for years, industries that pride themselves on being smart. But sometimes we're so smart, we lose our curiosity. And when we lose our curiosity, we lose the thread. We miss what our team members are actually trying to say. We miss what our clients are actually struggling with. We miss the moment, and we miss the opportunity. What that walk with Reuben, my dog, taught me is that curiosity isn't a soft skill. It is actually the foundation of clarity. It is the start of trust. It is a leadership muscle that we all need to train. Now, let's talk about giving instructions, because this is the second major lesson Gen AI taught me on that walk. Once I started using prompts more seriously, I realized I was beginning to write them like mini briefings. I gave background. I defined the role. I explained the format. I wanted to provide as much context and explanation. I even included the why I am asking. And almost without noticing, I built structure around it. It's one I now use every day with both people as well as AI. I call it the GOLD framework. Now, GOLD is an acronym meaning goal, objective, language, and deliverable, GOLD. The goal is your strategic intent, why this work even matters. The objective is what needs to happen. Language is how it should be framed, the tone, the audience, the voice. And deliverable, well, that's what success should look like. This model that I came up with, this GOLD framework, didn't come out of thin air. It evolved from frameworks like CARE, CORE, and GCT, all used in the world of prompt engineering. No one person invented them. They were shaped through iteration and through trial and error. And once I started applying this structure to how I delegate or teach in the real world, I realized, well, everything is actually changing. It's actually aligning much better now. There was suddenly less confusion, there was less rework, and there's more ownership. Because here's the thing. The reality is that when we ask somebody on our team to do something, it typically becomes garbage in, garbage out. That theory, that phrase doesn't apply just to software. It actually applies to leadership. If you want better output from your team, you need better input from you. And sometimes that means slowing down. Sometimes that means getting clear, teaching through precision and not pressure, coaching with clarity and not commands. That's why this GOLD framework, GOLD, gives us a system that empowers others through the way that we communicate. And that leads to the third insight I took from all this. Even in an age of automation, leadership is still a human game. Gen AI didn't teach me how to code. I certainly can't. It taught me to pause, to get specific, to listen harder, and to lead the way I want to be led, with curiosity, with context, and with care. Because if you lead people, whether as a manager, a partner, a teacher, a parent, you know this already. People don't need perfect answers. They need to feel understood. They need direction that they can trust. And they need clarity that they can act on. So here are 3 takeaways I want to leave you with. Number 1, lead with that GOLD framework that I provided you. Use that structure: goal, objective, language, deliverable, to create clarity in how you communicate with everyone in your life. For instance, when delegating a project, clearly state the goal, the specific objectives to be achieved, the language and tone you want to be used in the communication, and what exactly does the final deliverable look like. It works, and it builds better teams. The second takeaway: ask before you answer. The best leaders I know listen deeply and ask precisely. It is not a soft skill. It is a success multiplier. And finally, number 3, let the technology be your teacher. Look, Gen AI will not replace your humanity, but it can help you practice better leadership habits. Every prompt is a rep. And if you want to start using the GOLD framework today, I've got a free 1-page PDF that's waiting for you. Just head over to the Gold Standard Leadership Resource Vault at goldstandardleadership.com. You'll find the gold cheat sheet there, plus other tools to support how you lead, how you think, and how you grow. Because the future of leadership is not artificial. It is intentional. And it all starts with how you prompt. Remember, leadership isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Take this lesson, put it into action, and continue setting the gold standard in your own life and at work. See you next time.